Hello again everybody and welcome back to a brand new video. If it's your first time on the channel, then I'm Prakhar Vats. I'm a small time sim racer from India and I do different kinds of things as you can see on your screen right now, so you can check all of them out later. But the purpose of this video today is to check how much I have progressed over the past 6 months of sim racing, and as a point of comparison I'll be having two league races that I did on the F1 2020 game. So firstly, this Indian Racing Community League race I completed in September, and then secondly, Split B of one of the fastest leagues in the world, that is ORL. But just a quick reminder, if you haven't already, then make sure you're subscribed to the channel. That would really help me in more ways than you can imagine. But now getting directly into the one lap pace difference. So on the left is my fastest lap in qualification in the league race in September, and on the right is my fastest quali lap in the league race for ORL. So coming across the start finish straight, you can see 8th gear in both of the clips, braking just a little later in the clip on the right and getting on power at the same time, pretty much using the rear of the car to turn more on the clip in the right. And then into this bank section, you can see I'm carrying 4th gear for on the exit on the clip in the right, because I just have that added confidence, and yeah, I can apply the throttle a little more aggressively coming onto this right hander. Just so much commitment in both of these clips, but you'll see towards the end the setup was so different, and into this right hander you can see just so much time gained on the clip in the right, simply because I got the right line, clipped the apex at the perfect point, and then as a result I would just gain so much, losing a lot in the clip on the left because they're just not in the rhythm, and going into this tricky right section, just a small mistake on the clip in the right, so that means I gained back a little on the clip in the left again. But that middle sector was just very fast. But coming out of this banking section finally to complete this lap, and the lines were pretty similar and the gears were pretty similar for the second part of the lap, but just a better understanding of the balance of the car that meant I could carry more mid corner speed, and that equated to about 6 tenths or 5.5 tenths in terms of one lap pace. But now coming on to the race pace that I had for both of these races. So firstly, the clip from before, and you can check the lap times. So just pretty consistent, but about mid to low 12s depending on the fuel load, and then one or two odd laps that just about made it into the 11s. But now for the race that I did recently, and you can see the same laps as before with the same fuel load, but I was consistently in the mid 11s, and I can confirm that I had much more traffic around me in the second race, so this could have been a tad bit faster. But now that we know that the timings have improved, let me try to explain to you what exactly I think is the reason behind this improvement. And again, I'd like to go side by side comparing the clips. So we're approaching lap 10 on both of these laps, and you can see on the clip at the start finish line I'm 294 kmph on the clip in the left and 307 kmph on the clip in the right. And this was down to two factors: firstly, focusing on the exit of the last corner, and then secondly, a setup change I'll explain to you later. But into the braking zone we'll go now, and you can see even when I'm carrying 20 kmph extra on the clip in the right, but I'll still brake at the same point, but still control the car well and trail brake to keep myself closer to the apex on the clip in the right. And at the same time I would be on power earlier in the clip on the right as well, so carrying more speed into the corner and then getting on power earlier. And although it doesn't look like a major difference, but even if it gains you 1/10 per corner per lap, it'll just amount to a huge difference in total race time. And when the margins are very narrow, just small things like these make the difference between a race win or not. But something else also has a huge impact on your total race time, and that is the number of mistakes you make. And just looking at this footage here, we gain so much under braking, but not knowing when to attack and when to go for a move, and you can see getting a little too excited in a place that I shouldn't have. And not only is this costing me about a second or two in my total race time, it's also going to make me lose my position which I was originally holding. So yeah, just a prime example of how costly small mistakes are and how much you need to avoid them if you want to have good races. And now looking at my approach after 600 hours of sim racing, so I know that the guy in front has a penalty and I'm also a little faster than him, but I still don't choose to push on this straight because if I get too close it'll compromise me for this right-hander. So I choose to maintain my distance, but I also need to keep the pressure on him. And if you can just stay behind somebody and keep them under pressure, mostly they would make a mistake or two, and the moment they make even the smallest of mistakes, you should know that that is the moment that you have to make a decision if you want to attack or not, and you have to just give it everything and muscle your way past if you have to. But now moving on to the importance of awareness, and by that I mean just knowing what situations other drivers are in and then making the most out of those situations. And on this occasion you can see the Red Bull in front of me is on the medium tires and I am on the soft tires, and even though this is lap 1, I know that right now I have to be aggressive because once 2 or 3 laps go by his tires would be at the same level, and you know, this is quite an aggressive move. I wouldn't have made this move if we were both on the same compound of tire, but at the same time you also have to be aware of the limits at all times. And just putting this out there that I have not, and I probably never will, get immune to mistakes. And on this occasion, given that the car in front was on the medium tires and I had the better exit, I just tried to send it down his inside, but we made contact, and that is not a move that I'm proud of. But yeah, you will have the odd lapse of judgment every now and then, and that you should always try to learn from that experience and not take it as a setback. But since I mentioned just being aware of the tires and the situations around you, on this occasion you can see from my league race 4 months ago I braked so much more late than I should have, and yeah, I just didn't have that awareness at that point in time, and I just tried to extract performance from these tires that just wasn't there, and as a result just lost time on my total race time. But now moving on to something that's often underestimated, but it's something that is very, very important, and that is how you set up your car. So after 600 hours on this game, this is how I chose to set up my car for this Zandvoort League race. But 4 months ago, I was running 6.9 wings, so an added 2 clicks on the front wing. And that was simply because I wanted to stay more in control of the situation, didn't want to spin the car or understeer into a gravel trap. But yeah, that was what it was. And I don't think I changed anything on the transmission or the suspension geometry. It's just standard on the game, everybody runs that. And now this is where I think all the magic happens. So this is what I ran for my league race in January, but 4 months ago if I chose to run this setup I would have spun out of every corner, simply because this is very aggressive in terms of the suspension and the anti-roll bar arrangement, and this is just a very, very tough setup to control. So 4 months ago I was running something like this, so just the most safe arrangement possible. And if there's anything that I've learned over these past 600 hours is that you have to run aggressive setups and have to drive cars that feel like they're on the edge, because yeah, setups you might think are undrivable are the ones that can extract the most performance out of the car on a given track. But that was pretty much all I've learned over the past 6 months or 600 hours of sim racing. And do let me know what your thoughts, feedbacks or suggestions are on all the points that I covered in this video. I live stream my league races every weekend, and I also do an Assetto Corsa Competizione live stream every Thursday. So if you haven't already, then make sure you're subscribed, and if you've been watching till the end, then a massive, massive thank you to you. But until the next time, until the next video, until the next live stream, just stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you in the next one.